Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello guys, welcome to the Dal Education Project video tutorial series for the ASP.NET using C#. And in this session number 11, we are going to learn another control of the ASP.NET, and that was the checkbox list control. And the checkbox list control is the same, having the properties that just like as we are discussing in the previous session number 9. You can see that the session number 9 is the bulleted list here. The checkbox list belongs to the list controls, and there are the different kinds of the list controls in ASP.NET. We are already discussed that number 5, but we have to once again discuss that there are the 5 types of the list controls in ASP.NET. The one is the drop down list, checkbox list, radio button list, list box, and the bulleted list. We already discussed bulleted list, and now we are going to discuss the number 2, and that was the checkbox list here. The checkbox list is basically a collection of the list item objects. Items can be added to the bulleted list in the HTML or in the coded selection file. You can also bind the checkbox list with the data binding like any other list item. Important properties of the checkbox list item which we will discuss in this session was repeat direction, repeat columns, enabled, selected index, or it was index not index 3, selected value, and the selected item. So let's start the program. So we will give a new project, name this project as the checkbox control, example. Checkbox list control, because that was already created here. Okay, now we are going to add a web form. Name it default, and add some properties. H2 education checkbox list control, and in the design mode we will select this control here, checkbox list here. When you click on this one, then this control was placed here. Now we are going to add the elements in the source code. Then you can see that this control was look like this, and now we are going to add ASP list item, and the text property, it will be the property like hobbies. We can say that weight lifting, and value will be equal to something like weight. To save the time, I just copy this one and paste it here. Something like this. We have weightlifting, reading, surfing, music, movies, and also change the value movies. You can take the same text and values, or either you can change the values according to your need. For example, it will be net, and it will be book reading. It's up to me. Okay, now we will go to the design mode, and you can see that this kind of values will show. And if you will run this program in the Google Chrome, we are going to see that checkbox list was created here. The important thing between the checkbox list control and the radio box list control was that in radio box you can only select one option, while in the checkbox list control you can select multiple options here. Now you can see that if we want to select this one, this one, this one, and this one, we can easily perform this. Now we are going to learn this property, and which we will discuss here. That first one is the repeat direction, and now we are going to change the property of this control. So select the properties, and here you can see repeat direction. In this repeat direction, you will see that it will be a vertical. If you will select the horizontal, it will show in a line here. So it's up to you that whether which kind of direction it will be suitable for you. For example, I will take another button for show data, something like this, show result. Okay, now this is the only one thing between this control, that the direction, repeat direction, and the repeat column is another property here. If we will provide the columns just like 2, then you can see that the data will be shown in 2 columns here. And the next property which we will want to discuss, that will be the enabled property. And in this property, for example, if we did not want this music property, then it will be enabled is equal to false. For example, it means that when we will run this application, then we cannot able to select that enable. It means that it will not work for us. The option is here. Okay, now if you want to select all these one, but if you want to try to select it, then it was not enabled. So this is the third property of the checkbox list control. And now we are going forward to the next one, that was select index here. Okay, now for this thing we just close this one. Okay, now we will perform some methods on this, on the basis of this checkbox list control. We are just go to show result, and in this button click, we have for each loop. This is another this is a loop kind which will use to only for the list items, list item, and here I will give the name list data item data. Data will be the name of the variable list item in, and this will be the list checkbox list 1 dot item. And in this loop we have response dot write. You select the hobby, something like this, and plus concatenation, and here we will use data dot text property. Okay, now we will run this application and see what will happen at the result. Okay, now when we click on the reading and then show the result, then you can see that you select the hobbies, weightlifting, you select the hobbies, reading, you select the hobbies, and every time, because it's the loop, because this checkbox list control is a one control, and when you select it out, then a for loop will display all of them. So to handle this problem, we have some little changes in the code. Go to this one and just change it, and now we have if condition, that if data dot selected, then this perform the action. Run this application once again. Okay, when we select reading and select show result, then you can see that the only reading was shown. If I was selected weightlifting, then you can see that weightlifting and the selected hobbies reading was here. So we can change it according to our need. Just like this, we have changes something here and perform this thing, response dot write, and it will be something like this, and change this response dot write after this loop, your hobbies. And now we will run this program and it will look nice according to our need. Okay, when we select reading, it will show the result something like this. If we use weightlifting, then it will show the result weightlifting and reading here. If it were surfing, then this will be the look nicer. Okay, this is the text property. Similarly, if we want to get the index of the value, then how can we do that? We can just change the code and place the values data.text, and similarly if you want to get the data.value, then this function will perform and get the value of the list, checkbox list here. Okay, we have something like this. Then you can see that this will show weight, book, reading and net. That was the value properties, and since we have almost done with these things, now this is the third property, selected index was there, and if we want to get the selected item, then how could we perform this thing? Okay, now we will change this code, comment it, and you will use this comments just like this. Okay, now we will use another way to select the value of the text, and that was the checkbox list one dot selected index dot property selected item, not selected index, selected item dot text property. Okay, now we will run this application, but if you will choose it and there is one error was behind this session, behind this thing coding, I will tell you how that was the thing works. If you select any one value, then this code will work fine. Okay, then you can see that reading is here. If you select the show, then the only one value will be get. The last index was there, but the error was that if you did not select anyone, then this kind of error will be shown, because no selected index item was selected, so that's why no text will be shown here. So you will see such kind of error here. You can see that the checkbox list one dot selected item dot text, and this kind of error was shown on your screen, and you have sorry, this error was here. This means that null reference occurred in the checkbox list one control but was not handled in the user code. So how to solve this kind of error? We need to handle this null reference exception. We will make if statement here and use checkbox list one dot selected item is not equal to null, then this code of block will run. Now it's done, and we will remove this exception here. The basic concept is that you will be aware that how this code will be handled or how it will works. you can see that. Now if I will just remove it, then this works fine. Now no exception was created. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Please subscribe our channel for further videos. Allah Hafiz.